Hey, I'm Mike McGonigal, and this is my Q&A with Culture Geek. Uh, that's something that I honestly don't really remember. I know it was, I've said before, I know it's been inspired by Sonic Schoolhouse, but it's been an idea I've had for a long time, and I've kind of forgotten where it originated from, other than like Sonic Schoolhouse. The earliest stuff I have, because I for a long time I didn't write stuff down, but the earliest thing I have for Baldi's Basics is like a Smile Basic program from like late 2015. I have like a small program to change a texture in. It was like a 3D maze type thing, and I had like a recording of like Baldi's voice doing some sort of intro, and that was late 2015, and that was all I had before I made the game for the Game Jam. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember like the moment where it was like, oh yeah, this is a thing. I don't even remember like why I put Baldi as the main character of the game. The other characters, their designs were mostly just kind of on the spot as I was making the game for the game jam. So like playtime, I was just like, oh, I need a girl who plays jump rope. So I just wanted to, MS Paint and scribble it up real quick. Some of them I had like some idea, like the idea for arts and crafters came from, um, like, have you ever seen the character Sussy from The Amazing World of Gumball? The idea for arts and crafters, for some reason, years back, I like photoshopped a picture of Sussy like standing out like far in the distance, like this dark like porch at night, and like because I thought it looked really creepy. And so that was the inspiration for like arts and crafters to have like a creepy like thing like standing like far away, like a photorealistic object like far away at the back end of like a hallway or something like that. So like I kind of had some ideas for that. Principle of the thing was similar, where I kind of had an idea of what I wanted it to look like even before I started making the game. But a lot of them were on the spot. No, one of the reasons I picked it for the meta game jam was because I was kind of like, it was an idea I had wanted to make, and I was kind of like, I wonder how people would react to this. I wanted to see how people would react, if they would like it, and I was like, if people like it, then maybe I can pursue, doing a bigger version in the future. And if not, then at least I had fun, making a funny, weird game for the game jam, So, I put it out there and kind of waited, and a few Let's Players played it. I was like, oh, okay, they seem to like it. That's cool, and got some feedback. And then a while later, it got way bigger than I ever expected. The idea for the game always was intended to be for a full game. For the meta game jam, I just sort of, since I only had 2 weeks, I was like, I'm gonna make a small version of this game. Whatever I can fit in 2 weeks. But I always had the ideas, for the field trips and the special events and all the other content and stuff I plan on putting in the full game. Not not really, nothing. I guess nothing like out of the ordinary. There were a few days where things kind of went slow because I was trying to figure out new stuff, or like I know there were a few times where I just got stuck like trying to figure out stuff. I couldn't figure out why Unity was doing what it was, or eventually I either usually figured out that it was all my fault. I was doing something wrong. It wasn't Unity's fault, but uh, yeah, there were a few points where I got stuck, but nothing huge. I think just because the main thing is Unity is free to use, but I think I just was a little bit more familiar with Unity than most other engines. Um, I had taken a few tutorials in Unity before, and I also had a small project I had been working on in it. I don't really think so. Most of the ideas, at least the ideas I've come up with so far, have been kind of stuff I just come up with, on the spot, out of when I don't expect it. I haven't really sat down and like had like a brainstorming session for ideas. Usually, I'll just be doing something, or I'll be somewhere and I'll see something or do something, and I'll give me an idea. for a character and I'll write it down. I'll probably eventually start having like brainstorming sessions with friends and stuff and start trying to come up with more ideas. But for the most part, it's just kind of stuff that's kind of come to me. Yeah, I just picked the goal after thinking through everything I would need money for, and I talked with an accountant at one point. He agreed it was basically the minimum that it seemed like good that I could use to fund everything that I would need. So that's why I picked the goal. And when I launched it, I was nervous, but I didn't. Yeah, I really had no idea how well the Kickstarter would do. So I was just kind of in the mindset of, if this is what God wills for me, then it'll happen, and if not, then it won't. That's not to say I was planning on just sitting and not doing anything to help the Kickstarter and just see what happens. As of now, it's just me working on the game. I'm planning, once I get more stuff finalized and know exactly what I want to do. I'm planning on hiring some people for some artwork, from music. That's a big thing. I can't make my own music, so other than some cheap MIDI music. But so I'm planning on definitely looking to hiring some people to help with things. But as of now, I haven't really finalized all the details. Like, I haven't figured out what kind of music I would want, so I haven't really asked anybody yet. But yeah, as of now, it's just me doing the programming and coming up with the ideas and stuff. So I've thought about this before. It's kind of hard to put my finger on what I enjoy so much about pinball. I think a lot of it has to do with just the kind of physical aspect of it. It's the pinball isn't programmed, so it can be pretty unpredictable, and no two games play alike. So that keeps it from getting boring, I think. Like a lot of other arcade games, like Pac-Man. I'll play a few games of Pac-Man and then be done with it, because it's the same thing every time. But pinball, it's always, yeah. But it's also, at the same time, it's not so unpredictable that it feels random. You can still get better. You can still make mistakes and say oh, I shouldn't have done that, and learn from that. And on top of that, pinball is just like the games. There's a lot of great design, a lot of great sound and music and stuff. It's a lot of fun. My favorite is definitely Lord of the Rings. It's got. I mean, the theme integration is really, really good. They did a really good job bringing the theme to like a pinball game, and it's got a lot to do and a lot of strategy involved. It's really, really good game. I'm not sure if there's anything I'd change. There were some things that I never got into the game that I wanted to. Like, I was originally planning on having it so that like when you would click like play and the game would start loading, you would hear like computer sounds, like a disc spinning, and like some other kind of like fourth wall breaking stuff. But I never got around to doing that. But I always kind of wanted to do that. Maybe I'll add it in someday. I don't know. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, not everybody is going to like the game, and that's fine. But you know, I really do like when people give me like good constructive criticism. I've always enjoyed like when people give me that, because it's a good way to learn, a good way to figure out what I can do better. It was super nice when the game first came out. I got some like really good comments from some players who played it early on, who gave me what they liked, what they didn't like about it, and that was really helpful. It gave me some good things to think about that I'll be applying to the full game, which is really nice. I guess the moment that I first confessed my faith, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember my mom was with me and kind of you know just asked me some questions, and I talked about how I understood what it meant to ask Jesus Christ into my life, and uh, accepted him into my life. And I don't know if that, I was really young. I don't know if that was like the moment I was saved, or I don't know if I fully understood, but throughout my life, since then I've, God has worked in me, He's humbled me, He's taught me, and I'm, definitely sure that, I've become saved, I've, accepted into my life and want to live for Him. I'm just so, so thankful, for what He's done for me, for dying for my sins. Yeah, I mean, my goal is, you know, early 2020, sometime in the first half of 2020, and I still feel like I'm pretty on track to do that. So that's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm gonna strive to release the game, at least on PCs. Yeah, I mean, when the full game releases, I think it's likely that I'll probably occasionally update the game for a while afterwards with new content. As long as I'm still coming up with new ideas that I want to put in the game, I'll be putting them in the game. But after that, I haven't really decided on exactly what I'd like to do yet. There's a few ideas. There's one game that I've made for uh, some old. There was a DSiWare app called Petite Computer and a 3DS sequel called Smile Basic. They're programming apps, and I made a version for each of those called. I think the version for Smile Basic, the newer version, it was called Roguebots, and it was just a small arcade game. I think I might do that at some point after Baldi's Basics, but I'm not sure yet. And then I definitely like to make a pinball game at some point, but that would be a pretty big challenge. It's just I don't know if you've seen on my YouTube channel, but it's actually like the pinball game I made for Future Pinball a few years ago. And yeah, the idea is just you got this guy named Joe, and he sounds like this, like out of sweep. And he's a bus driver, and the kind of the idea behind the game is that you get passengers into Joe's bus, and then just kind of theme based off of that. I would just say, make games that you enjoy. Just do it because you enjoy doing it. That's kind of what I did. I just made, came up with a dumb idea, and I'd make it and just have fun doing it. Yeah, I can't I can't say it's always gonna be successful, but at least if you're doing something you love, you're gonna love doing it whether it's successful or not. So I think that's what I'd say. Just a big thank you to everybody for sticking with me and for all the support, and just again, it's just incredible, it's humbling, and can't I can't say thank you enough, really. But yeah, thanks to everyone who came here to listen to the podcast, and thank you for interviewing me.